Chelsea and Brighton have done business again.
Carve, Joao Pedro, Chelsea, what can you tell us?
Yeah, Chelsea have agreed a deal to sign Joao Pedro from Brighton.
Except this time, it's pointless. It makes no sense. A deal potentially worth £60 million for a player they don't necessarily need. A deal for a player that makes everything complicated. Does Chelsea really need Joao Pedro? Well, truth is, the answer is pretty obvious. See guys, there are many ways to look at it. For sure, Joao Pedro is an amazing player. He's currently in a good stage in his career. He even got a national team call-up to Brazil, by the way.
Drives into the area, he's got so many to pick out. Pedro's there! Perfection from Pedro!
He was amazing for Brighton last season, scoring 10 league goals, and not just about scoring, but he's one of those players you have to watch to see the value he brings to the team. He's excellent with the ball at his feet, an excellent dribbler, he's great at carrying the ball forward, he's a really flexible attacker, he can play as a 9, player from both the left and the right wing, and to top it all off, he can play as a 10. There's no doubt this guy provides so much value and attacking options up front, but then with Chelsea, things are a bit complicated. Chelsea has had and still has players that also fit into his profile, or should I say description. There's Joao Felix, there's Nkunku, there's Raheem Sterling, all amazing attackers, and most importantly, really flexible ones that give multiple attacking options.
And now we're actually, instead of streamlining it, we're making it bigger for players that are not significantly better than the guys that you already had.
So you see, it's not like Joao Pedro is giving Chelsea something they don't already have or have had. And let's face it, Chelsea couldn't manage to make things work with huge names like Sterling and Felix, players who have already won major trophies in their careers and have had spent years at the top. So what is the assurance that things will be different with Pedro, a similar player with relatively less experience? You see where this is going, and there's more to this. But before we get into it, please smash that like button, and if you haven't already, subscribe to the channel so you don't miss any of our upcoming videos. Now back to Joao Pedro and Chelsea. Yeah, we know Pedro is a really fantastic player, but bringing him to Chelsea, what exactly are you trying to accomplish with that? Chelsea will be playing in the Champions League next season, and it isn't just about playing in it, but actually going on to win it. At least, this is what the fans want. So it only makes sense to bring in new guys who offer something extreme to the team. A player that we know is elite at one thing. If you want to bring in a pure goal scorer, bring in a striker like Victor Osimhen or Victor Gyökeres. You get the point. Bring in guys that are elite at one thing. Guys that are the best at what they do. This is what Chelsea fans asked for. But boom, the owners decide to go for a player that hasn't quite figured out his exact position yet.
Could cost 60 million, but now we're hearing it's in excess of 50.
Is he better as a striker, as a winger, as a 10? Yeah, we know he played these positions well, but is he elite at any? The obvious answer is no.
Good at everything. I don't think he's elite at much. That's how it feels when I watch him. And in between the lines, and hopefully we make it make sense.
Now normally this shouldn't be much of a problem. Not taking anything away from Pedro, but for a team like Chelsea that is aiming for not the league, but also the Champions League, your signing should be a little more precise. You're going to be going against giants like Real Madrid, PSG, Barcelona, Bayern, teams with the best players in the world. You simply need to have the best to match them. But as we all know, there's more to building a team than just having big names in the locker room. Squad depth is also just as important. And some can argue Joao Pedro was brought in for this reason. But then, spending that much on a player that isn't brought in to make a significant difference?
Surely we're not spending 60 million on a backup 10.
This right here is a little troubling. I mean, it's fine to want squad depth, but it's not fine to spend so much for it. And looking at this move and the amount that went down, we're guessing Chelsea wants him as a major man. And this is where it gets interesting. Looking at Pedro's best attributes and how he played in recent seasons, we know he's not a point man kind of striker. He's not the striker who makes those inside runs or contests for those aerial balls. This guy is a second striker. Now back to Chelsea. This team doesn't play with a second striker. Last season we saw them lay out with 2 wide wingers, Cole Palmer playing as a 10 down the middle and a traditional striker up front. So yeah, where's the space for Pedro? You have to ask, what exactly was the thought process like bringing Pedro on and spending that amount? Let's say he decides to take that number 10 creativity role. He's not going to have much play time. There's literally Cole Palmer, one of the best attacking mids or wingers in the world. Basically, going by last season, there's realistically no space for Pedro in the team. But then we've been seeing Enzo Maresca tweak things up in the FIFA World Club Cup. We've seen Chelsea play with a 4-2-2-2 and a 3-4-3. Looks like a setup that may favor Pedro, but what really matters here is that Maresca is open to trying new things, so maybe Chelsea actually have a plan to make this work. But hey, this team has about 8 attackers right now. There's only so much they can do. In the end, you can't play more than 11 players at once, and attackers don't even make up 50% that should be on the pitch at a time. In the end, some will play, some will get benched, and some will have to leave. Currently, we're not so sure the category Pedro will fall into. Say Chelsea brought in strikers like Victor Osimhen or Victor Gyökeres. We're almost certain these guys will play, but with Pedro, it's different. And as I said earlier, looking at Chelsea's target for the coming seasons, many expect that their signings will be more strategic, but not the addition of another good player that doesn't really guarantee anything in particular.
Like prolific. He doesn't guarantee you like 15 goals. He's never done it in this league. He doesn't, for me, strike me as someone that's airily like on it, like Osimhen, like guaranteed goals in the air. But he's like a link man.
Having considered all of these, you have to ask, what exactly is the deal with Chelsea and signing Pedro? Remember, they recently brought in 20-year-old winger Jamie Kitten from Dortmund. They also signed 22-year-old striker Liam Delap. And this is a team that already has Nicholas Jackson as a number 9. Maresca already backed Nicholas Jackson to be a striker going into the new season, and he also backed Liam. So what exactly is the deal with Pedro? How important is he to the team? One thing's for sure, Chelsea currently has up to 8 attackers. Some players will have to leave, and at this point, it's looking like a Chelsea thing. Go all out, overload a position for no reason, and then sell them off or just loan them out like they never had a play in the first place.
This is leaving. Nkunku will now leave after this Joao Pedro signing. You know, Guy will go out on loan, probably. Pires will be out on loan, you know. So Madueke might even be sold. He's been linked with
Nkunku?
Yeah, he's got to go. So there's going to be a lot. There needs to be a lot of sales.
You missed so many names on that.
Yeah, but if you're, I'm
there.
not going to. Who else is there? Washington? Who else is there?
Maybe it's now a Chelsea thing, and if that's the case, we should be surprised if 3 or 4 seasons later, we see Chelsea loaning Pedro to any random team. And overall, we know this isn't a good thing for the player and even the team's finances. And speaking of a Chelsea thing, we have to talk about their deal with Brighton. These guys are favored business partners right now.
Chelsea have spent now, is it up to 200 million on Brighton players? They love Brighton.
Over the past 3 years, Chelsea has spent over 260 million at Brighton. I don't know what it is between these two, but maybe someone needs to tell Chelsea's board that they don't have to sign every good player from Brighton. There's no question that Pedro is a good player. He's really good. But if he's good for Chelsea, that's the question. Newcastle was also in the race to sign the Brazilian, and a large part of the fan base expected him to sign for Newcastle. He would get more playing time there. His style of play would be more valued there. He could play as a second striker to Alexander Isak and freely enjoy a number 10 role if he wanted to. But at Chelsea, that number role already belongs to Cole Palmer. Considering all of these, it made more sense for the 23-year-old to move to Newcastle. But as things turn out, Pedro signed for the Blues, and get this, he joined on a 7-year contract. And I can't lie, that's pretty wild. Signing a 7-year contract for a team that doesn't really guarantee a stable spot in the starting squad is something that should be looked at. Now, I'll end with this. It all looks like a gamble. Chelsea's recent signings have been consistent enough to make us want to believe they actually know what they're doing. The fans wanted a big blockbuster signing that would instantly shake things up, but Chelsea decided to go with the signing a couple attackers here and there.
Instead of banking on 2-3 players' potential, how about you go and get yourself a player that we know is going to produce consistently?
It may work out, and it may not. I mean, we saw it work for PSG last season, but with PSG, it's a little different. They also signed Dembele, and we know the Frenchman is no young star. We already know what he could do before he joined PSG. Dembele joined PSG, and everyone knew he would make the team significantly better. But Joao Pedro and Chelsea, will he make that side significantly better, or will he just be one among many? Hey, let me know what you think in the comments. That's all for now, but if you enjoyed this video, please drop a like and subscribe to the channel so you see more content like this.